Dyno day, Saturday. Dyno day ended up being the most stressful day of my life. And it's all for reasons that none of you know about right now. So I'm going to inform you. So I should actually grab my nitrous solenoid so I can show you. So anyhow, went up, we had our driver's meeting, we drew out of a hat, we drew 9th position on the dyno, which would put us about middle of the day. We could watch some competitors be about middle of the pack to go. Okay, it is what it is. Went back to the pits. We were all ready to go, and we actually got in touch with another group, and I don't even know the competitor's name. Dimitri Millard was working with him, and he got with Derek, and they were not ready to go, and they had drawn the number 2 position. So since we were ready to go, we talked it over, and we were ready to go, and it would help us out. Maybe it was a little cooler in the morning. We would switch with them so those guys could make their dyno run. You know, we're ready to go. There's nothing really to gain by waiting. So we switched. You get 1 switch in positions on the dyno, and that's it. And we did it. We switched. We're now, the second one's up after Tony Burkhart. We would be able to get our dyno run in, get the truck converted back over, be able to do some ODSS racing. Then we turned our nitrous on. So we put our big kit of nitrous. You guys remember I had the shower head over here. Derek brought me a bottle with an 8AN fitting to go to our 8AN line and nice brackets. We had it all in the truck. For whatever reason, we glossed over ever turning the bottle on. So we turned the bottle on to get ready to go up there, and our shower head's leaking through. We could hear nitrous seeping into the engine. And it's like, man, my brand new nitrous valve was bad, or solenoid was bad. So Derek had a spare. We swapped it out real quick. Same thing. We were just, at this point, I was having a heart attack. I wasn't nervous up until this, but yeah, I was having a heart attack. So everybody kind of split off in different directions to find one. Went over to Trevor Peterson, and Trevor, the great guy that he is, pulled the one off of his truck because he was going 13th on the dyno. He pulled his off and gave it to me, ran over, put Trevor's nitrous solenoid on the truck, and the same thing was happening. The valve was leaking through. We couldn't believe it. So at that point, I don't even remember if it was me or somebody said, there's something else going on here. And to show you, I got to grab my solenoid. So this is the nitrous solenoid in question. This is my brand new Lightning 375. Like I said, it was leaking through. So there's an 8AN O-ring boss fitting that goes in here, and then and a -6 that goes in here. So when I got this fitting, okay, -6, -8, and I got fitting, you know, I had fittings laying around, put them in, we were good to go. So when we got Trevor's nitrous valve, or solenoid, and we realized, you know, something, like 3 of these can't be doing the same thing, there's got to be something else. We realized, and I don't know if it was we looked in here, I can't remember how we came to the conclusion, and my phone's ringing again. I'll just silence that for now. Anyhow, so what we realized, or somebody realized, that the fitting that I had gotten, this fitting in question here, was actually too long. So as you can see, that is ground down. So the threads were actually longer on this, and thus when we would thread it in at the very bottom there, if you can see that silver part, that is actually the valve seat. So when we threaded in, it was actually pushing the valve seat down a little, allowing nitrous to leak in to the engine whenever we threaded our fitting in. So Dylan from DNR took this thing and to the grinder, ground it down. We put the fitting in, turned the nitrous bottle on, and we were good to go. So at that point, like I said, I was losing it because there goes the competition. You miss one of these events, you might as well call it. There's no way you can finish well. And I just, I'm thinking the worst because you're hearing over the loudspeaker. Tony Burkhart's up there. He made his first run. Thankfully, he had to make a second run. But Derek told me just, go sit down and you need to just think. Just get this out of your head. We'll take care of the truck. So, do all that, get in the truck, drive up there, and I was up there for a little bit by myself. They were gathering stuff to bring up with us and all that, and I'll be honest, I was sitting there and I was trying not to throw up. I've never felt like that in my life, and I was all nerves, and it was not anything to do with never dynoing before. It was because I almost lost that competition before we ever got up there. It was UCC. That's what the kind of stuff that happens. Something because we just never thought, or we overlooked even just turning the bottle on to make sure it held pressure. So that was minor heart attack number one. We got the truck up in the rollers, all that kind of stuff, all new stuff to me. Got it placed where we wanted. They strapped it down. So we started to bring the truck up and get the truck into gear. We're going to dyno in, which would be overdrive. And the truck would not shift. So we made an anteater file for our automatic transmission to command overdrive and lock up when we wanted to make sure the truck wouldn't downshift during our dyno pull. And I must have screwed something up in it. I haven't looked at it. I might have saved over it, to be quite frankly. I don't know. But we're up there. The clock is running. We have 20 minutes to make our pulls, whatever we're going to do. And we can't get the truck to shift.
Okay. So.
You have a dyno tune? You have tune one here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's try it again.
So luckily we brought my laptop. Derek ran off and got my laptop, brought it up. We took our drag racing anteater file. We converted it, pulled that up, changed the values we needed to change, ran through the gears. We got up into overdrive. Everything was good to go. We were now able to make a dyno hit. So we brought the truck up to speed. We got it up to RPM. Cody, the dyno operator, said, "We're ready." So he hit it. The load came in. We were running everything manually. We took our controller out of this situation, just so it was just the solenoids and me. Basically, that load hit, flat-footed it, started bringing in the spool jet, and the truck started to come up and clean up, and I hit the big kid of nitrous, and we had our number. I stayed on the throttle way too long. I was told afterwards, like, our hit was over and I was still running that thing out. If you watch the video, I'm in the RPMs when it's done. But first time I've ever done it. So we get the numbers and all that, and I look down after the pull, and I take my finger off the spool jet. So we were not using all the nitrous that we had on tap, so that's probably 150 horsepower that I lost because I took my finger off that button. Just honestly, everything happened like that. It was like the truck came up, whether it was just the turbo setup was that good, or the nitrous setup, or whether just this engine's that crispy, or just a whole combination, or maybe that's just how it is, but it just was all over in a flash. So the numbers, exact numbers were, so our exact numbers were 2,090 horsepower and 2,789 foot-pounds of torque. So 2,000 horse and just about 2,100 horse and 2,800 foot-pound of torque, which are very good numbers. Those are not dyno numbers to laugh at, but I knew I didn't hit that spool jet. I knew I didn't hit our big nitrous setup until way too late, so I knew there was a lot more left on the table. But I don't think many people can say their first ever dyno pull was a 2,000 horse dyno pull. So it's playing Monday, or Monday, whatever they call it, when you're second guessing your actions, looking back on it, whatever that is, Monday morning quarterback, some shit like that. But we got up there. All right, it's not a problem. We can make another run. We got time, so we put the fans on. My battery's good, so we put our radiator fan on, our coolant pump, our transmission cooler. All that was running. Our guys from Hardway came up. We looked at it. We took a little bit of a log, and we wanted to flash the truck. So at this point, we had 13 minutes left on the clock. Typically, to flash a CM2100 is about 6 minutes. Not this time. So we were flashing the truck, and it was kind of Nicole from DNR was down there giving us a count out like every minute. Hey, you guys got 8 minutes left. We still had 7.5 minutes to flash. You guys got 6 minutes. We had 5.5 minutes to flash, and it was just everybody was staged. Like Derek was going to change the tune. I was going to start the truck. Like we had to be into the run before our 20 minutes was over. We were done flashing. I started the truck, and Cody said, "That's your time." So we probably made the mistake of flashing the truck. We probably shouldn't have done that. For whatever reason, it took forever. And I don't know how everybody else is, but when I flash this thing, it takes a while, but I don't know how long it takes because I flash it, and then I go do something else. And then I come back half hour later, and, ignition off. So it's easy to Monday morning quarterback that stuff. A little disappointed with the numbers because I know that there was more left on the table if I would have held that other button. But it is what it is. They're not numbers to laugh at. Like I said, not many people can say their first ever dyno pull was 2,000 horsepower. But with everything going on and knowing I didn't hit that button, I was not in a very good mood. I think I threw my helmet in the cab of the truck, and I might have peeled out a little bit leaving the dyno area. I was just not in a good frame of mind. Like I said, same thing as drag day. Hate beating myself. So we got back to the pits, and I kind of stewed a little bit and decided, you know what? The truck's healthy. It still sounds good. We drove back from the dyno, drove back from the drags. No transmission issues, nothing like that. I'm not drag racing ODSS today. I want to go out of UCC without having to actually wrench on the truck. So we just decided to convert it over to sled pulling mode. I got a hold of Greg Jolly and told him that we would not be drag racing that afternoon. We had too much to do. And our final position on the dyno was 7th. Once again, not numbers to laugh at, not numbers to shrug off. They're great numbers. I mean, it takes guys years to get that 2K number, and I did it my first shot with a lot of help from the guys from DNR and Hardway. But just like I said, beating myself up because I knew we had more in it and I could have done better. But my first time ever doing it, not too shabby, and I shouldn't do that, and I know. But whatever. We were in a good position coming down to day 2. We were in 3rd place overall at Ultimate Callout Challenge, which we spent all up until the final day. You know, when it all came down to the sled pulls, and we were up in the standings the entire time, which is nothing to shrug off either. So we went in the sled pulling day. The truck was running great. No issues out of our Muldoon's transmission. No issues out of our Freedom Racing engine. Just the truck was doing its job. We went out to dinner every night. You know, some of these teams were there at midnight changing transmissions, and we were going out to eat. And for that to happen in UCC competition, it doesn't happen for a lot of folks. So we were sitting very good in that way. So